What is up and what's happening, Auburn fans? How are we doing tonight? How about Auburn basketball with a little 10-point win at home in Neville Arena over the NC State Wolfpack to give the SEC the 7-6 lead over the ACC in that challenge. Still early in the college basketball season, but man, uh, the Auburn Tigers, they're starting to really gel together, and they look better and better each and every time they get on the court. So, congrats to them. A big time win for Stephen Pearl. That's one that they'll probably put on the resume as well. And nice game from Overton, man. He was hot. He was all over the place, making plays for the Auburn Tigers tonight. And I know he's gotten a little criticism early in the season, but tonight he showed up. That's what big time players do, man. That's what big time players do. And that's the reason you went and got him out of the portal. But we are here tonight. I'm not going to be on here long. I just wanted to hop on here and talk about how big it is for Alex Golish and the Auburn Tigers to retain DJ Durkin and bring him back for the 2026 season, man. I think this is absolutely huge for Alex Golish and this staff and this roster. Okay, I think it's big for everybody keeps talking about player retention, bringing guys back. Can you keep this roster together? All right, and I think if DJ would have left, you would have seen a mass exodus. All right, you would have seen a lot of these young guys hit the road. And I'm talking about, I think you possibly would have seen like guys like Jared Smith, New Boy Fagans, Eric Winters, Malik Autry. And, some of these cats, they still might hit the road. I'm not saying that they're for sure staying, but, you got to think about like Woodby and cats like that he really brought into Auburn, right? That those were his guys, and that's his defense, and I feel like if excuse me, if they couldn't get a deal worked out, those guys, they didn't want to all of a sudden start over. I feel like they would have easily just said, "Hey, look, we wanted to play for DJ. We're probably going to just go ahead and get on out of here. We're going to go get in the portal and see what else is out there." But you kept him, right? And everybody talks about Golish, and at the press conference they asked him, "What about DJ? Are you bringing him back?" And he said, "Well, hey, we have a plan, and we're trying to execute that plan, and hopefully we can have it done in 24 to 48 hours, right?" And I think this is just me. I haven't been told anything. I don't know anything. I just think, in my opinion, that DJ basically said, "Okay, if you're going to hire another man over me, if you're going to hire somebody else over me, you're going to have to pay me. And you're going to have to pay me handsomely." All right. Which means I want to be big dog. All right. I want to be paid like a big dog. And I'm one of the best DCs in the country. So if you don't want me to skip town and go somewhere else, you got to come up off that bread. And I think whatever they had to do, they got it worked out. And that's just my opinion. And that's where I sit with that. I know how I would feel. I look at it as everyday life. All right. I know how I would feel if my place of employment hired somebody over me where right down to the final hour I thought I was getting the job, because that's how a lot of people felt with DJ. Is after the Iron Bowl, people were like, "Okay, well, it looks like they're just going to hire DJ." And then at 1:30 in the morning, you offer the guy the job. So I just try to look at it as everyday life, normal living, normal place of employment. What would you do in that situation? I know what I would do. So that is. I don't think anybody. I don't want to say anybody because I do think the Mississippi State stuff might have been a little real. I don't think. I don't think DJ really wanted to go there, but I do think it would have been like a last option. Like, okay, we just absolutely couldn't get this done. We don't see eye to eye. I'm going to Mississippi State. What I'm trying to say here is I don't think anybody like Lane Kiffin come calling. I don't think anybody like Mike Elko or anybody like that come calling, or a Notre Dame or an Ohio State or anything like that. Like we heard last year with DJ. Um, I think he really loves Auburn though. I do. I think he really loves Auburn. I think he loves this group of players, the ones that he signed today, the ones that are currently on his roster, and I think he is a player's coach. I think the players feed off of him, and I think that's why a lot of them wanted him to be the head coach, and they voiced their opinion on it through social media. They were, why are you messing stuff up that's not really messed up? Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and things like that. Where the players are saying that, but as fans, you're like, hey, we're 5-7, dude. Like, you know, get a grip. So the players love him. I think he truly loves Auburn, and he's found a home. And you know, the everyday fan's gonna throw shade at DJ for his past at Maryland, and I look at the Pete Thamel tweet, and you get in those comments, and you see all of those people. They're just absolutely dogging DJ, and they're dogging Auburn about how they support DJ, and I don't really pay much attention to that. I think DJ has found a home, and he's with a fan base that adores him, and we want him to be great. And I think he truly respects that. So um, I'm happy as hell that he's staying. I did not want to have to go through what I thought we would have to go through if he left, which meant having to scramble. You're going to lose a bunch of people. You're going to have to try to plug in through the portal even more than what you really want to. You're basically going to have to go get a bunch of 3-star guys and plug and play and things like that. Like, I didn't want that to happen. And now I don't think it is. Now I think you're going to keep majority of everything you got. And then you had a couple big flips today and things like that. For Alex Golish to come in 48 hours before National Signing Day, and you retain DJ Durkin, and then you keep your class together. And it's not like an overwhelming signing day for Auburn, but you got some studs. You got some guys that can play. Now you got to go crash the transfer portal. You got to go hit it heavy. Got to make some moves there. Now I know you're probably more than likely not going to get like an absolute superstar out of the transfer portal, because every year I feel like when we get somebody, when we get somebody out of the portal, we're like, oh my God, like he's this, he's that, he's this, and then they don't really pan out to be what we thought. So I take the portal, I'm not hyping anything up out of the portal, because the way I look at the portal is I think a lot of what you get out of the portal is people looking for new homes, and they were unhappy where they were at. They were unhappy with their production and things like that. So I just think it's a plug and play, the transfer portal. It's something for depth, and you're looking to fill a void, a quick void. It's like a Band-Aid. That's the way I look at the portal. So I do want to talk about DJ's defense real quick. And I thought this year, man, you have a top 30 defense overall. That's championship caliber, in my opinion. And so I thought he did a tremendous job in 2025 with the Auburn defense. Opponents' points per game was 21 points. Okay. That's 25th in the nation. And there was a point in the season where I think, what was it, the Vanderbilt game? So going into the 10th game of the season, Auburn was one of 4 teams not to give up 24 points in a game. So you only gave up more than 24 points twice all season. And you went 5-7. You went 5-7, and you only gave up more than 24 points twice all season. Let that one sink in, folks. Let that one sink in. So I think that's why you have to be overly excited a little. Like you got to have a little joy about Alex Golish coming in here with an offensive mindset. And you hear Tennessee fans, they absolutely love him. Like, I think you got to be pumped. Because if you can get over that 24 mark, you're probably not 5-7. Because DJ Durkin's absolutely bringing it on defense. Opponent yards per game, 328 total yards. That's 25th in the country. Opponent's points per play, 0.308. That's 25th in the country. Opponent yards per play, 4.8. That's 23rd in the country. Opponent third down conversion percentage, 34.44%. That's 25th in the country, folks. That's top 25 defense, man. Like I don't know how you could lose a guy like that. I don't know how you could lose a guy like that. And Alex Golish retained him and brought him back. And I think it's massive. I think Golish is 2-0. I think he's 2-0 already as Auburn's head coach. You brought Durkin back, and you somehow salvaged signing day. Like, that's 2-0, man. And Womack, whatever. Whatever. Opponent rush play percentage, 50.13%. That's 45th in the country. Opponent yards per rush, 2.9. That's 6th in the country. Opponent rushes per game, 34.2. That's 49th in the country. And opponent rushing yards per game, 97.9. That's 8th in the country. So Auburn could stop the run. In the past, they were a little sketchy. They were around the 70th in the country mark. The DBs were a question mark. And I felt strongly about that group this year. But, I think Baylor kind of inflated those numbers a little bit because after that Baylor game, they looked very much improved. But just overall, man, the exotic blitzes that he brings, the different looks, the different pressures. I just think DJ Durkin is the full package for the Auburn Tigers, and I'm glad to have him back. So, top 30 defense overall, man. DJ Durkin back in 2026, and I know we're all excited. Let's get over here to these comments. Like I said, I'm not going to be in here long tonight. Brett says, "War damn fam, how we doing, brother?" Samuel the Sniper says, "Man, we're in for a big off season for Auburn football." I truly believe that. I think this is going to be one of the more exciting off seasons. War Eagle. JD says War Eagle. I like Alex Golish tonight, buying into the War Damn Eagle. How about that? How about that? Brett says your Toodle nephews are Auburn Tigers. Blake, yeah, man. Shout out to Cottage Hill Christian Academy. I know they were in the news for for something else besides football a couple weeks ago with the teacher spanking their kid and all that. But today we were in the news for three guys signing D1 letters of intent. They had a defensive end with Caleb Metzner. He signed his letter of intent to Oregon State. And then you had the Tootle brothers, which Shadrick, he went on to play junior college ball at Mississippi Gulf Coast, and he come back to Cottage Hill this morning to sign with his brother Shadarius to the Auburn Tigers. So Cottage Hill, man, they sent three guys D1, and it's miles ahead of where that program used to be almost 20 years ago when I was there. So super proud of the Cottage Hill Warriors, super proud of the Tootle boys. And even though Metzner didn't sign with Auburn, I'm super proud of him and everything that those kids accomplished this year at Cottage Hill, and made the second round of the playoffs and lost to a Southside Selma team that made it to the semifinals. So super freaking proud of them, man, for real. Huge flips to get the Wells bros. I told you that, man. Brett, I really felt confident about that like a month ago, about 2 months ago. And then for Golish to get the job and in such short time really capture it, and DJ, he had a part of that. Like, that's why this is just a huge win for Alex Golish. Like, how you doing, Miss Karen? I didn't mean to click off your comment like that. War damn, that's a fact of life of hiring in my industry. I'm telling you, if you have a job and you feel like you're up for a promotion, all right, and I'm telling y'all this, I'm making my point because I quit my job 2 years ago. I worked there for 10 years. Okay. I felt like I was the next guy to take over. And I had worked there since I was 21 years old. And I was pretty much doing the day-to-day operations and wasn't getting paid for it. I was basically the supervisor and wasn't getting paid for it. And then I was being trained to take over as the shop guy. And they hired somebody from another company to come in over me and just basically told me, hey, we're sorry. Like, nothing, it's no hard feelings. We just feel like this guy has 30 years of experience and, you only have 10. And I was like, okay. I was like, cool. Let me pull out this cell phone real quick and let me make a call. And I called my dad and I said, hey, you think the company that you retired from would hire me? And he said, absolutely. And I said, get them on the phone. And that was it. Walked in the next morning and said, hey, I got to talk to you. The guy immediately looked at me and he was like, oh no. And I said, yeah. And he was like, man, please don't. And I was like, I quit. And he was like, man, you're not going to put in a 2 weeks notice? Yeah. So that's how that went. It's just part of life, man. And I think that's what happened. It's just my opinion. I don't know anything for sure. It's just my opinion. They hadn't planned on 2026 being a big class for sure, because you got so many young, talented guys on this roster. And that's like, it wasn't going to be some splash home run, top 10 recruiting class. Womack said he was looking forward to winning natties with Levy and MSU. Man, come on, dog. Look, just say, hey, I took a bag. Okay? Let's just say, hey, I took a bag. It was an in-state school. I grew up a Mississippi State fan. Like, what? Just tell the truth, man. Levy's not winning natties. Not at Mississippi State. War Eagle fam, love the energy this coach brings. We needed some younger blood in here. Miss Devon, did you see Hugh Freeze throw Jackson Arnold under the bus? Man. It's a street pharmacist. Aaron Murray was on Crane and Company today, and he was ragging on Golish's offense, saying he's never been impressed with it. Bro just can't help himself when it comes to Auburn. I've had 3 people tell me that we had an A+ hire. One of those is a Tennessee fan that I'm very close to, who lives in Tennessee, and I talk to him daily. So, huge Tennessee fan. And he said, hey, you knocked it out of the park. He was like, I did not want to see Golish go there. War damn, J-Dog. How we doing, man? Don't give away my secrets. That's funny. That's funny. Dude ain't winning a natty. Yeah, like. Also, have any of you ever been to Mississippi State? Just in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Like, just in the middle of absolutely nowhere. The stadium's mid. Cowbells are annoying, but it is what it is. I don't want to hear Mississippi State fans talk because, like, we got like a 35 game lead in that series. You're a baseball school. That's the nicest thing on your campus, and I mean, congrats! Like, you got a 5-star. Like, that's awesome. I look at other players like, I look at Elijah Melendez, like he's going to be a sophomore next year. I look at New Boy Fagan, sophomore. Eric Winters, sophomore. Like, those 2 guys that I just mentioned are safeties, and they're going to be sophomores. Like, it's not a position that we're like in dire need of. Does it hurt? Yes. Am I sitting over here crying myself to sleep? No. Oh well, it is what it is. I'm over it. Just wish him the best. I'm still focused on Auburn for sure. I saw it and I was just like, I can't believe he would. I can believe he would say that. I can't believe he threw a kid under the bus even after you're not the coach anymore. Like, why did you come out and say, well, I'm in this position because Jackson Arnold didn't work out? Like, not only did you throw him under the bus, you put it in drive, ran him over, stopped, put it in reverse, and then run him over again. I apologize. Bo Wallace, please unblock me on Twitter, brother. I apologize for going at you the way I did. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Miss Devon says, I have so many shows, podcasts that I love. I have to pick and choose what I give my time to, and has been coaches aren't on the top of my list. Yeah, just crazy that he still mentions close and all that stuff. So, all right, y'all, I'm gonna hop out of here. Great win for the basketball team tonight. Love to see it. little 10-point win in Neville Arena. I do want to call out the Jungle, though. There wasn't, the vibes weren't there tonight. The vibes weren't there tonight. It's got to be better. Student section needs, I know it's the holidays and all that stuff, but it's got to be better. So calling them out, bring it. Next home game, got to be better. DJ Durkin, you're the GOAT, brother. See you in 2026. Glad to have you back. And to these young cats on Auburn's roster, if you're listening to this, if you roll across it on YouTube, if you happen to see this, stick with us. Stick with us. Grind it out. Turn this program around. I promise that it will pay off in the end. And we're going to be okay, man. We are going to be okay. War Damn Eagle. I'll see you tomorrow night. We'll talk about signing day and all that stuff. I know it happened today, but we'll talk about it tomorrow night. And I think it was a great day. Alex Golish doing a hell of a job so far. War Damn, y'all. I'm out.